channeling that ultimate, ready to drop at the moment's notice. This was not a fight where Cherry Slush thought, oh man, we are getting jumped. It's, oh, so you're approaching me. Very well, let's do things. And at the end of it, it's Cherry Slush who walk away with the Fire Giant completely uncontested.
They saw King's Court walk away from that solo lane, give up the 4v3. Must have been a call that Snatty and Moods had to reset, and that was more than enough of a go button for Cherry Slush, who do so much damage to the Fire Giant, given the builds that we've seen. And we've been hitting on this crit from Coast. Of course, we talked about the build and scaling from Scream. It just all combines in this perfect combination to blow up the Fire. That's without even talking about the Neath. So Cherry Slush has pushed this game into beyond any kind of uh-oh territory. They now have Fire. Scream's got a dagger in pocket, mind you. One of the better players I've seen use dagger consistently, now on a character who, you combine it with dagger, you basically have 2 extra lives. This is a nightmare scenario for King's Court.
Yeah, Scream is an absolute monster right now. I would love to see him maybe play a little bit more patiently, because a lot of times we've seen Scream in these fights, he's been the one initiating. I think if he just allows Cherry to get in there first or inbound, he probably does just an absolute devastating amount of work. Snatty, I mean, there's just no way out for him on this one. 3 people with Fire Giant, you're stunned down. There's a Deathbringer on Vapor's Coast as well. Only question is how much are they going to put into killing him? It's actually quite a lot.
Gonna be a ganking duo as well. 2v1 onto the Kali. Remember, Kali's got 2 lives with the dagger.
YouTube.
So maybe you can take this fight.
What's up, smart people?
No dagger! Oh man! You're going in Scream's montage, man!
Okay, I don't even know how that fucking dagger works.
Can you make it 3?
Oh!
You can! Scream still got
Scream
it!
with 5 kills.
1v3 Scream takes them all down. The double life. Look at his health bar. Malum. That is
I knew it!
devastating!
I knew it. Spooky, I knew it. As soon as I saw him grab the dagger, I just...
How do you recover from that? You cannot...
We usually don't see Scream performing that well, actually.
You don't even get the chance. They're in the Titan room.
Great call from Cherry Slush. They were not going to mess around with this one.
Even the power of Snotty could make them win.
Win this one in dramatic fashion.
With vaping, vaporish powers.
Ridiculous play from who else but Scream. And the King's Court go down. They're going to head to the lower bracket.
Man, that is a crazy way to win a game, Malum. You get swarmed by
his face doesn't
people
look
as a call, you think,
like it fits with his hair.
You know, I could probably take maybe 1 or 2 of them down.
Nah, I'm just kidding. So I shouldn't insult casters.
3 people? Is that it?
Even if the name
Are
is
those the odds
Valium.
you really want to take? Because they're not in your favor, and he proved it right then and there. Double life. Fights in his own ultimate. And there's just not enough damage to take him down.
Terrible.
Walk down from that.
What gets me, right?
Thing you can name your children is, you know, penis enlargement pills or erection pills like Viagra.
And somehow Scream still hit it. That was what
what's
was
your
so
name,
interesting.
Viagra?
That's one I can't wait to watch back. That was crazy.
Gym equipment is also a bad idea. Step Master
Viagra's stats. It almost feels like
Viagra's Step Master.
You know? Yeah, mind you, Scream, look at his slash. He was not clean throughout that game. Those are just from the end where he
Where's the cough? Because he used to be sick.
Game now.
My bowels are inflamed. Still.
Wasn't really racking up kills left and right. They weren't looking for the fights to get their leads. It was all just map play. And while we did see a lot of good life from the King's Court, it just wasn't enough to compete with the slow chokeout that they were having to contend with. Making sure that they were safe. They weren't looking for those counter invades quite as much. I don't want to say they weren't looking for it as much as they did not have the opportunities to look for it. This dual lane made sure that Golden and Moods really didn't get stuck up at all. I maybe criticized the Rage a little bit in the early game because it wasn't on an attack speed hunter. But man, when you're Coast, it doesn't matter if you have a stick.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? I'm so shell shocked from what Scream did. It almost feels like, I don't want to say nothing else matters, but I mean, you know, everything started
screamer
at that
with
fire,
5
I guess
ends.
was the big thing, right?
Yeah.
We saw the back and forth of the fire giant. We saw the dagger get picked up by Scream, and it kind of felt like
Watch me doing this shit in RuneScape meanwhile.
At times for the King's Court, they knew the right amounts of the map to play. They knew when to kind of catch Cherry Slush sleeping. The problem was that outside the macro, and you called this at one point, Smoothie, they just could not go step for step with Cherry Slush in the micro.
And what's a really big kick in the teeth is that fire giant doesn't happen if not for the King's Court trying to make an aggressive play on the right side. Mood finds the puck onto Scream, tosses him back. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication because the rest of the team surged forward and went right past him, allowed him to walk out. I thought, no big deal. We're looking for this right tower. Not able to find that either because
my fat knob head.
Say, hey, we've got
mine on the 10.
Back off, buddies. And they
eventually is this even
and no one
worth watching?
Slush felt like they had to reset at all. They just said, okay, fine. We'll get the objective, and you'll do absolutely nothing about it.
Bible study. Yes, the Bible.
Because while we've been watching that chaos fest, there's been other games going on.
I already streamed RuneScape today. I was trying to make it a little bit more interesting.
On my other screen during that
I'm making
game.
a commercial for my channel or anything like that.
Relatively quick. I believe we were around 15 to 18 minutes in our game. When I saw
basically been AFKing here for more than 110 mining. They said it couldn't be done. They said it's a 500 grind doing nothing, but I did it. They didn't believe in me, my ability to do other things while playing RuneScape.
As we've touched on, the favorite, or it could be Ana de Armed Robbers. Party Game and King's Court will take on each other in the lower bracket as we are starting to see our lower bracket tape shape.
I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yes, Stepmaster is maybe even funnier name than Viagra Stepmaster.
I will probably yell at someone for not watching that match, but most likely everyone's kind of favoring Jump Machine right now. Bakery certainly going to have their work cut out for them either way, because regardless of who wins this, right? If it's Jump Machine, you're going against a team with a 100% win rate. If you're going against Ana de Armed Robbers, you're going against the guys that just took down the team with a 100% win rate.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm not sure which bucket I would rather be in there.
And brackets like this are so momentum and so vibes based. You know? If you can have that kind of a afterwards, you can ride those vibes all the way through a bracket. I've seen it. I know you've seen it before. It's just kind of how these things tend to go. Well, indeed.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens in those brackets. I mean, we've still got plenty to shape up there. We've got plenty of games ahead of us, Mal. I mean, I guess we just have to wait and see.
We have to wait and see. We gotta take a drink break. So go refresh the water, use the restroom. When we come back, when we circle back, we have more Smite Prime. So do not go anywhere. Be right back in Smite Game.
Well, I guess I have to click on something else here, like this. Huh.
Punish. Did not get the confirm, unfortunate. Big waste of bar. Yeah, that's an easy punish too as well. It's like a 6-frame startup, I believe. So level 2 at that distance will catch every single time.
Yoga steroids. Yoga. Being annoying and silent and then punch you in the face.
Here and there. It's difficult getting the button economy. Hardboy gets a pickup. That was godlike. Jump. Medium kick, crouching medium punch, trying to find a confirm again for level 1.
Yoga flame.
He does level 1. Doesn't matter. It's done. The OD Yoga Comet from the skies.
Man, that's got to be a tough one, but hey, it's only one up so far for David. D-Knock, tough Ken player, not the one to trifle with in the first place. Command potential, it's there, but just have to be careful. Let's go for the dive into it. OD Fireball in the slide in. And for D-Knock, getting your back in the corner again, but that's one try for another impact. So far.
That was definitely a bait. The dive kick, nice and low to the ground, so you get the impact right back, and now it's the Baron of Burnout. Continuously opening him up the fireballs, trying to get a trace on the counter hit. What can you do? You got no bar to your name. You broke, jump, fierce, finds to finish with the fireball. Follow up. Davey, a game in a rough, what is that? What does that say right there, Ash?
This is perfect. Perfect round already up for Davey right now. And even the trade out in damage counter hit.
Yeah, fighting games are easy to look, easy to watch.
Tried the parry again, but caught one more throw back up against the corner.
Shigiri punching the fireball. Yeah, burn him out. Level 1. Gets a lot of gray health right there too as well. Slide apply gets a knockdown. The frustration you can see here from D-Knock. No level 1 reversal. Just getting continuously caught up in the mix, in the blender that is a potent amount of punches from this character. That's the Sansara to send him out.
Double parry KO. I've never seen that.
Punches and potent amount of fireballs at that. Just plenty about on fire for Davey. Only 2 games up so far. What have been some fast rounds and usually back and forth matches that we had yesterday. I want to say today.
It's just hard because D-Knock, you can see the ideas. It's just some of the things aren't coming to fruition where he can see them right back. Yeah, Dragon Lash not working out the side. Applied, going right underneath.
Teleporting on is crazy in this game.
The reset at that, but for D-Knock just caught in a corner trap situation that we've seen before, but has to opt out for the DP.
Driver Stamp Pierce is a starter. Run DP, have the Oki. Goes for the throw instead of the crouching medium punch. That's fine. No tick throw. The pushback with the Jinrai. You'll take that trade. The whip punish.
There we go. The limb extension danger that I do like to mention that Davey does get tricky with, and D-Knock, of course, accordingly punished.
Yeah, caught him ducking. That crouching medium punch is such a consistent tool, as you point out. Then we see D-Knock have the proper punish. Caught him ducking so you get an extended amount of damage. Now we're going for some of these jump-ins, reversal buttons here from Davey. Knocked down off the blast. Waits a little bit.
Slash off yoga teleport, you love to see, and D-Knock tried that jump in threat. Still not working out so far here. Tried to super the parry though, and of course that's going to be punished. Rush into top.
This guy is back.
If it was on block, maybe he would have been okay. I'm not sure, but doesn't really matter. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's one sequence right now. It's level 2.
Throw fireball to follow up, trying to stand heavy, but instead for the throw as D-Knock getting helped down, and Davey caught a corner trap situation of his own here of the DP ender.
Yeah, that counter hit was perfectly done. Being able to have a conversion right after. D-Knock not done. He's still knocking on that door. I probably shouldn't do that. There's some equipment here. My bad. My bad production.
Equipment is more than my
Goodness, powerful.
more than you're ready. I'm scared to just look at it. I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't want to knock anything down. I ain't got nothing in my bank account to pay for that. D-Knock trying to pay it back in blood here against Davey. Get some perfect parries off. He's trying to. You see the attempts. The tap parry doesn't let him keep some of that drive game.
Come on, just do it together, Lawson.
Davey loves a delayed fireball into the just to slide in at that, trying to catch you off guard. Limb extender with the fireball again off the driver slide with the dive, but that's gonna be a perfect parry right in a fourth throw again.
Yeah, loopy-loop throw gives you some distance. He goes for the OD fireball, or the normal fireball, excuse me, for some meaty scenario. Jump medium, comment, normal fireball, the fist off the fierce, and that's what I was talking about. You see that Dragon Lash catching him, trying to lead, get that.
When you're trying to attack, you know, just be defensive, and Dawson gets you.
I'm not sure why. Does get the counter hit, doesn't get so much significant off of that. Maybe like a run cancel would have been great. Oh no, jabbing away, blast.
Again,
I'm sorry, there's no smite right now. Just be a little bit patient, and I think it will start at any time.
Davey, a lot of bar to utilize, and that means good.
On the bakery Bible study, we'll play Cherry Slush and
this one, watch this instead. This is fucking talk.
Set up party game versus the King's Court.
I've already did that.
We'll take on the aforementioned.
And by the way, I was always proud from the first month I got to Congress to be a co-sponsor of Medicare for All. And I bet you a lot of you didn't even know that. And we deserve quality public education, the right for workers to organize, the right to have a roof over your head without being gouged.
Maybe you don't know.
Because we haven't given them any attention so far as we've gone through our day, Spooky. But there's some names that I know.
Let me go through.
And I'm sure a lot of people at home.
Padre, see if I can make some
well
food.
So
if I even can do that.
Yeah,
I would be rising.
Let's talk about our second seed so far, Mal. The bakery themselves, with Donut, Doug, Moswell, Sino, Leo, and Aurora, of course. 72% win rate, nothing to scoff at. They've been doing absolutely fantastic. They had to earn their way up to this second seed. And sure, you know, you can say, well, it's not 100%, but this is a team that's played all 3 weeks in between every single time, haven't missed anything. A lot of talent put into them. A lot of SPL talent, a lot of talent. Donut Doug a very interesting lane to me because you know both these guys are such talented players. Aurora has a lot of leadership. You know the gods he likes to play, get aggressive in there. It goes very well with Donut Doug's playstyle. My eyes are got to be on Sino though. He's such an untraditional jungler at times. Sometimes he just brings out the craziest picks that you were never expecting. And you can never say, oh man, what's Sino doing? He's being silly, because he always performs on it. He's just that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And Leo also, you know, just to kind of touch on everybody, Leo's somebody who I've seen perform pretty well throughout the community tournament series. Leo, a name change, you might know them, he's Dishonored, that always performs solid, I think is the best way to describe it, you know? And that might sound a little slighted, but I mean it genuine. It's a lot of times you just, if everyone on your team can be solid, the layers and the levels that upgrades you, it's pretty insane. But that's the Bakery. There's another team they have to go against, and this is the team that still doesn't know what it's like to lose. They only know what it's like to sleep in, having missed 1 week of play, but they still haven't lost, Spooky. I mean, talk about a favorite, right? I know they're the 3rd seed, but again, you miss out on games, you still just are unbothered. And what a stacked roster, too. And for those who maybe are just starting to check out Smite 2 competitive, 4 of these 5, who you might not be familiar with, the 5th being Twig, who you probably know, who's been at every Worlds ever, right? These 4 were so dominant as Food Drive for Globe in the Founder Series, all the way up to Vegas, where they even were pretty good in Vegas.
Implying that we might not know Twig himself, Malum.
I didn't. I implied the opposite.
I mean, you said 4 of them you know, and 1 you probably should
I said
know.
4 you. Well, 1 you probably should know, and then 4 you probably don't know. If you're just tuning into Smite 2 competitive and you only watch Smite 1.
I don't know, Malum. I'm gonna take this as Twig slight, and
that's crazy.
That's the story I'm running with.
That's crazy. We're never casting together again. Anyway, let's get into picks and bans so we can cast together again.
This is
like how I switched it up?
Malum,
Yeah.
this is cold. But we've got
We're on a
time to
tight
repair
ship
this
here,
relationship still, right? Twig has time to show everyone why Malum is wrong, and you should just know his name.
What was I
Aladdin
wrong?
is still banned out, not getting any play in this one, and you know what? I don't blame anyone on that. I really don't want to see anybody on the Aladdin. You put someone in the lamp, all of a sudden fight just turns completely haywire, get him off the board. This Agni has not been paid a lot of attention so far today, but I think it's a really good call out. I think Agni is just very strong. He just recently got that aspect, which can honestly do a lot of burst damage, changes up the build a little bit, maybe puts him into a different role as well. But the value he can bring, aspect or not, I think is incredibly powerful because it gives you so much flexibility in that.
Well, we once again find ourselves in a problem. Bari and Kali are both there. It seems like teams are still afraid of Bari, understandably so, but Kali, we just saw what a Kali can do. And we know that both Sino, and I can speak well, I know you can too, that Valo also has a pretty nasty Kali, and it's going to be available. So is it first pick for Bakery, or do we see a similar story where you take something that was part of your game plan, maybe because you didn't expect the Kali to get through, and then the other team can grab it, or do you make a pick? That's kind of the big situation with the Bakery.
Alright, the best I can do.
It's a repeat.
Parmesan spaghetti.
So is that an instant Kali lock
Spaghetti.
for Valo?
Spaghetti, spaghetti.
I've always preferred Valo on hyper carry junglers over junglers like, for example, say Achilles.
Spaghetti.
Frankly, I thought maybe we'd
Oh,
see
touch
the
on my
Kali and the Baguettes get locked in on
together,
the side
but
of Jump Machine.
No? What do we know?
We're not going to see.
I thought it was
either of them.
stupid way to
We're still
spell
gonna see
baguette.
switch carriage. We're going to see a backline. Clearly, the Zeus and Artemis still being
It's
prioritized.
not baguette, it's like that, chat.
Leaving both picks up for the Bakery to take now is to me a little bit questionable. It might just be confidence from Jump Machine saying,
Maybe.
these are the picks we know we want to play. This is for our game plan. Maybe we don't get the Kali. Who cares? We're better than those guys, and it's not going to matter.
Only 4 bans competitively.
No one wants it.
I guess that's also
And it's
possible with
Fenrir
Thor and
against
Neith
Sino.
being locked in, so the caster confusion will stick through. But I will say, Jump Machine, they had some of the most interesting drafts in Vegas, as well as at the Georgia land preceding that. They've always just been a team that likes to cook a lot of stuff up, and Twig, we know, is a player who can just play anything. So it's a perfect mesh there for those 5. So this is probably the composition that they knew they wanted to get no matter what. There could be some adaptations based on the bans, but I have that trust in how this team tends to operate.
My greeting phrase is
a well-oiled
on Twitch right now every day for several weeks. It's been like Le Rabbit has brought you the baguette.
Was definitely more important and better than whatever we're saying. There's a reason that they're
I've been spreading baguettes for so long, it feels like I need to get paid or something.
Locked in, that's a nice front line for Jump Machine.
So many messages, text people, Twitch chat messages. So many about has so many baguettes.
To that ADC role.
If you add it to any sentence, it's better. It's pure.
Makes the draft a little bit more difficult.
Pure gluten.
Well, you've got support you could do. Bracken could be jungle. You can throw him into the solo lane. Poseidon getting locked in. Wouldn't be surprised actually to see this.
Neat has by far the newbiest like abilities and movement. I thought they would change Neat more into Smite 2.
Still does not convince me that we're not seeing a Thor.
Yeah, to give her a attack speed star as a part of her deck build, for example.
If we're looking at just kind of the most basic
We've
things. Chuck prying that solo lane Thor to the jungle, and you add Thor on top of this lethal, that is a lot of power that can come out of nowhere. And global respectively.
The healing weave ability is one of the lowest damage abilities in the game. With a very slow, he's unable to attack for like more than a second. That's just so bad. She needs to be able to fight during that build.
The Kraken too can just kind
Otherwise, using it is even more damage. It's all attacking.
Very limited, and you can combine that just as well with the Thor. And Poseidon has one of the highest win rates in the game right now as well, so kind of undeniable in the presence that brings. Jump Machine though, we said they probably have a plan, and they do indeed have a plan. So no Bari, no Kali, none of that boring stuff. Forget the Merlins of the world. They've got their composition locked in, and they got three big dudes leading the way in the form of the Bracken, the Hercules, and the Ymir. That's a pretty serious front line that can allow that back line to just do whatever they want if they can survive the Thor, right?
Yeah, I really like the front line and its ability to keep these immobile backliners safe. But at the same time, you're facing a team that can kind of ignore the front line, right? Thor can just go in over you. You can find a flank, drop the world arrow just across the map.
Yeah.
This chalk, I think, is going to be instrumental in allowing the bakery to move forward. Where you drop the storm call is going to be hugely impactful. If you can find a good ult and make space for your team to surge forward and get past this front line, Jump Machine Pride doesn't look too good at the end of things. But you have to make sure you're taking this Zeus down. You have to make sure this Artemis goes down. And it's tough ass, because if you do just jump in onto the Artemis, she's gonna drop the Caledonian Boar, and all of a sudden your engagement might not be looking so good anymore.
Well, let's see how the game's looking. Let's head on to the battleground. The Bakery versus Jump Machine. It's Malum, Spooky. Let's do it. Let's take a look at Relics. 2 Sunders.
It took 20 minutes, but here it is.
For the Order side. And in terms of roles, the craziest thing is you were right. There's a jungle on the map.
What do you mean? What is that, Mal?
What is this shit is saying?
Right?
Well, you know.
Val, we're never casting again, man. This is slander. This is.
I have this weird thing where you're gonna hop off the call. That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh man, I thought you were talking about this.
No, I gave you the credit.
That's all right, Mal. You know what?
You came in here with a preconceived notion of how this was gonna go, and I think you're just too defensive. I'll say it.
I'll accept your apology.
You're gonna get off this.
You know what? This is
you're
better.
Gonna lay down in bed later and be like, "Wow, I can't wait to cast with him again. He made me sound so smart."
My ego shrinks with my camera.
No, this sign on the jungle is something we've seen time and time again, right? This is something he just enjoys doing.
Shot Ruby's death.
On it, he can bring a lot of value. Does mean that the dives from this Thor might not come until a little bit later. He's going to be over in that solo lane for a little while. But if he can get the pressure and find himself opportunities to rotate out, like we saw Cherry do in the last game,
Silent ADC.
a lot of potential, because if you can add the Anvil of Dawn on top of a Storm Call, on top of a...
Yeah, these players are new, man. I never saw these fucking players in Smite 1, so... You're gonna be trying to mince me with those people who play for 10 more years, otherwise I'm gonna eat my parrots and put my cock in the microwave. At least, you know, staple my cock to my forehead, just like Harry Potter said you should.
Not a bad call, given how much CC is on the side of.
Gonna shoot my cock into space with a rocket.
A little bit less of that surprise factor, and he's gonna be relying on jumping in with the axe or just walking forward to get those ults off.
As you have said, so I have noted. I have noted. I shall note. Something like that. I want to ask you a question. It's one that's been burning in my brain, and I feel like I have to say it because Tess is running production today, and this is a talk.
I should do a low eye costume where I go like, I'm making a stupid voice. And you go like, what kind of dog is that? Is a turtle or a lizard or whatever.
With a lot of the most renowned supports that we've become accustomed to seeing in Smite, having not played as much recently, some retiring as well.
Suddenly see Shock Jungle. Well, you know what? I don't know all the builds. Maybe Shock Jungle isn't. Troll, you know.
Have been playing out of their minds in recent tournaments, as well as playing very well in the Founder Series. Not to discount that at all, especially in the case of Happen. In this instance, this is a support war. What kind of things should we be looking for between these two?
I think it's going to be very important to find your focus timing and your wall timing against this Sobek, because Ymir can definitely do a lot of work in stopping what this Sobek wants to do. If you know he's hunting for that charge prey, you can kind of bait that out. If you sidestep it, you can freeze him in place now that he's out of position, or you can just throw up the ice wall in his face. All of a sudden, there's nowhere to go. Alternatively, you can wait for him to find that charge prey, throw the wall up behind him, stop whoever he's gotten from going too far out, and now you've blocked him off as well. It's a very high skill matchup here, but clearly Happens feeling good about it.
Clearly indeed. Beads, though, from Donut Doug. It's a lot of back. Worth noting, too, actually, in mid lane, and a dive in, looking for Twig. He gets a step back, a dash forward from Valo, bringing back Sino. The damage is on real good. The spread! Sino!
Holy shit!
And he's gonna die anyway! The detonate was on. First blood goes to Twig.
Valo's so good.
And just take the minion wave. Because as we saw, the detonate charge was coming up anyway. He was way too low to survive one of those, especially at 3 stacks. So he said, you know what? Fine. Let's get the farm so it's not as big of a loss when I go down.
Get her done, farm burner. Good old dang fried chicken.
Moswell. Very good play. A little unfortunate that he loses life for it. And that now opens up the fire brand.
Severely autistic plays.
A little bit more golden their way, and an invade.
These guys are never going to pay taxes.
She doesn't stop.
Ults drop, that's gonna be a dead Sobek. Aurora goes down, Tegvir.
They're not gonna stop talking about Star Wars. Oh god, I have some yeah, I guess you realize there's some bread croutons here. I haven't gotten any worse. Considering that they are completely dry.
At one point, Tegvir just play a character with a bow and arrow. It's just crazy. But before the chaos
gamers can find us to clean the desk. No, I'm kidding, chat. I keep things pretty
who's just gotta get away.
light and retarded, you know.
Roar and Donut Doug. These two, they play ranked together. They're friends. I always see them playing duo. We've already seen some trouble over in duo, though. So Happen and Tegvir have that same kind of synergy. So we talked about supports. In terms of duo, when does it break up? When do we kind of pay attention to who's rotating first? Is there a time frame of this game? A time?
Hello, Twitch chat.
Honestly,
Italian voices.
when they get their ultimates, which is right about now. Now we don't expect to see Donut Doug rotate out for a little while yet. He's gonna stay in that lane, farm up. What I'm really looking at.
So I got 3 viewers on the 3 platforms right now.
Make rotation maybe over to that mid
the tryhards. The sweaty tryhards 3.
Be perfectly fine if Happen makes the rotation over. As long as you have your wards up, Ice Wall isn't going to do anything now that the backflip goes over that. You can just set up onto Tegvir. He's got to be the target you're looking at.
It's really funny putting behaviors on coffee. I got up for 4 hours to like a boner at work or something.
And trying to get this artist down.
Hey, you want to see our insurance policies? No, get away from me!
But it was 3 levels down, taking fights. Now, looking at a Gold Fury instead. Jump Machine are wise to it.
And already here. And the Zeus ult will spread them away. Gold Fury pulled out of that ultimate. You got one in deep, gonna be the chalk. Ult out, can't find it. Valo trying to put in some work and able to bring down one
that
before
bounced
falling.
4
The Gold
times.
Fury goes to Jump Machine as well. They'll take Donut Doug too. Valo will be more than happy to sacrifice himself for all that.
They got you if you didn't kill 2 people.
2 for 1 and a Gold Fury in favor of
Time
Jump
to throw in the
Machine.
towel.
Excellent work on that rotation coming in. I can't believe Valo actually got that boulder off and took a roar down in the same breath right before he dies. Had a split second to do it with Leo. Comes in with the Anvil of Dawn, not going to connect onto that one. There's one more ultimate down, but a little bit of a fight coming out.
Yeah, there's the pre-beads, now stuck through. One detonate charge only though onto Leo. Still was an ow, but not an ouchie, thankfully. No
Here's a roast. The two retards are and most welcome together. Our team is like Ralph Wiggum getting shredded by an airplane engine.
After the Firebrands, we'll check that gold, because there will still be a little bit of a bump. And Jump Machine, they're pretty comfortable sitting just below that 2,500 3K mark.
You know, I don't know if I want to say thankfully that was only one charge, because that was a lot of damage that came out onto Leo. If he's doing that much with just the one charge, man, I do not want to feel...
And look how much damage Twig is doing with just the Helm of Radiance, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
This man is crying in damage right now. Baker got to be super careful about how they approach things, because we already saw what can happen. If you group up, Jump Machine will come in. All we saw Twig do was just drop the ultimate. Now Aurora possibly getting dropped as well. It gets frozen down.
There's the board, answered out. Kraken not going to do much of anything to Jump Machine. He's already committed a lot, so he just had to walk away and try to keep Aurora alive. So Jump Machine continuing to keep the pressure on in duo and as well in mid. Speaking of mid, Ymir rotating over. There is a Queen Naga up. Jump Machine, just get the oracles for now, but you step in, Ymir's gonna be there. They want the Zeus, the boulder through the wall. Actually hurts the boulder, couldn't find Sino, but will not matter. Valo still cleans it up, and they pay for trying to go after Twig.
Man, that is very unfortunate with the ice wall. If that was an enemy in there, though, oh man, it would have been feeling very bad at that point. But
big
still
dividends from the
Helm
of Radiance there too, right?
Yeah. Still, it's another small win for Jump Machine, right? Get yourself the mid-harpies, get yourself a nice kill on Sino. It's these small wins that start to build up over time. And again, this fighting just does not stop. Jump Machine want more than small wins here, Malum. They're happy with what they're getting so far, but they're not the type of team to let off the gas. If they find themselves with a slight advantage, they're always looking to try to make it a bigger advantage. Even if that's just pushing back the dual lane and make sure that Golden can take that gold camp for himself, or Tegvir can get the gold camp for himself, that is a big win for Jump Machine. And look how much they're controlling this map right now. These Firebrands have been uncontested time and time again. We haven't really seen Bakery really acknowledge it in any fashion. In fact, I haven't really seen Sino pay any attention at all to this right side of the map. He's been in mid, he's been on this left side, but there's a whole side of the map that's just free for Jump Machine, and it's accruing them a lot of value.
Yeah, that's a lot of aquarium rocks that Jump Machine have been acquiring from all those Firebrands too, which is not to be undervalued. We saw what Scream was able to do with it before. I do want to point out too that now going alongside this Helm of Radiance is Necronomicon for Captain Twig. That mid build is just diabolical.
Yeah, he's got
Bloodbound book. Okay. Wow. I thought it was a Necronomicon at first, and I was freaking out.
I mean, I like the Bloodbound book a lot. It makes him a little bit more survivable, especially against the dive that's coming out from Leo. I think that's actually a really strong pickup. There's a meta a little while back where Zeus was very prominent, was when he had the Book of the Dead, and you could do the Breastplate of Valor. He was just super survivable, and this is kind of shades of that in his build right now. Sure, there's no Breastplate, but you got the Helm of Radiance, you've got the shield coming out. It's going to make it a lot harder to jump on him. If Tegvir and Twig are playing this correctly, there's just no world where Leo's able to dive onto this backline and find any value whatsoever, because he's going to meet a shield, he's going to meet a semi-tanky Zeus, and he's going to get bored in the face, and he's going to get blasted down for it.
This time, the neutral farm goes
to
Bakery,
tracking technique
without having to commit ultimates to survive. A pretty nice combination for the border side of the map's dual lane. But right side,
looks like
the Thor was lurking for Valo. Won't find it. Gets the red buff instead.
Oh, that's good.
The Zeus after. No, just gonna back.
I have to click every 20 minutes. Might do it off screen.
For the Bakery.
But I think you guys want to see it.
As well as the neutrals on the left. So there is some small victories across the map being picked up, but with 1 Gold Fury and 4 kills still left to be desired. And you can see across the scoreboard on the bottom, lots of items favoring Jump Machine as well. Still a lot of room for improvement for Bakery.
Definitely not as dire as it could be. The lead, not too significant right now. A lot of the item leads you're seeing are in the tier 1s, giving a slight advantage in the fights, but nothing that some good skill and coordination can't.
I think you gotta build the Leaf physical actually, because after all the freaking ability damage,
have about 1,000 gold in the Bakery. This is still very manageable. And frankly, when it's only 1,000 gold, I like to call that
with auto attacks, you know, you get Heartseeker.
It's across so many people, you're not finding a real significant advantage.
Yeah, Heartseeker is pretty fucking good.
What you might find an advantage in is picking out a roar here. Keep your eyes on the map. Rotations coming in.
Wall will be ignored by the ultimate from Sobek, and you get away scot-free. Still maybe.
I think Sobek's ultimate should be in the shape of fried chicken.
I'm curious when we're going to start seeing the
not availability should.
Dishonored,
Bucket,
Leo
Hamster,
Karmic here. It's a pretty
Parrot.
good matchup in solo. Karmic is not somebody who over-rotates. They're
in the shape
very
of a parrot. That's fucking stupid.
But I kind of think of Leo the same way. Now, we've seen a couple of
I don't
times
want to balance this shit. Just deal with it, Harry Studios.
So forth, but up to this point, no significant rotations. I thought he was going to hit the teleporter right as I said that.
Crazy.
So at some point, that has to give too, right? And we start to see them across the map.
Yeah, at some point, they've got to get out of this solo lane because, sure, you're doing good work there. You're holding the lane. Maybe not holding it entirely. Karmic has lost that tier 1 tower. But it doesn't do anything to stay over there. You've got to find the opportunities to get out of the lane.
Muscle's playing good here. This is what you should do. Fake clear the wave.
On cue.
For the flank.
Your jungler comes in.
Already out. Forces out the Cersei's Hexstone. The Thor ultimate not going to find a home. Now there's a Neath ult on the way too that Ymir just ignores.
Absolutely fucking takes
That's a lot already committed to a Ymir that you didn't do much damage to. Now with Valo blowing up the chalk.
They turned this. I'm gonna microwave my hamster.
The Storm Call helps survive. You can't spread the lightning
just $5
if you're Twig either. So the Bakery perhaps able to get away. Neath trying to go for a
top tier Smite right there.
It'll work out. Sinal able to get back off, and you've got Valo now in a corner against the wall. The Hercules will be the one to go down. Unbelievable that the Bakery are the team to walk away with a pick there.
I'm really surprised that Valo was caught up on that purple buff. That seemed like a really good time. Just pull back.
Start up with Happen taking the Kraken as well.
You saw the Kraken already come out. That was a great opportunity for Jump Machine to start looking at that objective and push this lead a little bit further. Instead, we see a little bit of over-aggression. Over-aggression that still seems to continue as happened. Caught in the whirlpool. Doesn't have anywhere to go. He's going to get blasted down on that one.
You don't really have to
2-for-0. In a fight that should have gone Jump Machine's way. In fact, did go Jump Machine's way.
Aurora seems polished for the first time in 10 years. Otherwise, he would be immature.
Currently tied up. This is going to put them ahead.
Messy so far.
Oh, he's sporting the pro level.
That's not the undefeated team I was
talking about. A little bit.
Twig trying to turn it around, but kind of walks into the gray screen. So Twig down.
He's
another
technical
play.
No
That's good! From downtown!
Needs to be the silence sometimes.
Valo able to hit it. That's 2 goals for Jump Machine. Right when you think they're out, they're right back in.
That's what I call a home run there, Malum. I don't know how that works out for Jump Machine that way, because Twig kind of inted there, man. There's no reason
if a baseball hits you in the balls and you're not flying to someone's beer top, that's home run.
10 times out of 10, they're turning on you, CCing you down, and sure,
yeah, that was very Luka and LeBron from Valo and Twig.
Yeah, but it works out, right? At the end of the day, you can't argue with the results that you got, and you just brush it off, say, all right, guys, I misplayed a little bit, I stepped up a little too far. Good job, Valo. You saved that one. Push them a little farther ahead. Now they've got the second stack of the Gold Fury around them. A little bit more gold to work with. It's a question of where they take this lead, right? Because we haven't seen a whole lot of sieging going on. In fact, during that whole exchange on the left side, Karmic was taking the opportunity to take down the right side tier 1. A little bit of gold in their pockets that way.
Yeah, you can't miss that. You might get a die.
Twig looking for the run back. And might be able to get some, but there's no killing Aurora right now. Even 3 charges on, that will not even get popped. Sino goes back in, beats to get out. Caught by the wall, stunned out too! The Storm Call for distance. Pendulum Blade for cooldowns, and Sino is able to get away, if not barely. The Jump Machine
don't really want to go and make spaghetti now, you know what I'm saying?
You're not very healthy. Thor's up.
Don't
Leo looks for it, lands down, can't find much. The answers are there. The boulder goes around. Leo gets stunned. Leo might just die. Pop goes the Leo.
Just like that. Detonate charges will get you from anywhere. Across the map, in the sky, doesn't matter. Twig presses 3, you're dropping down dead. Not all doom and gloom for the bakery, though. They get the left side tier 1, Tegveer, on the run away from Donut.
You see the pop and run. You know why? Look who's here. It's Valo. Speaking of Pendulum, can't find the knock up. Gets knocked back. Donut Dog is now on the escape trail. Great play for the Poseidon. Yeah, I think he's out. He's got the speed for it for sure.
Yeah, they're going to give that one up, but it does mean purple buff is an opportunity for Jump Machine. They might have lost the tower, but they're not going to give it up for free. Take what you can off of the fact. Donut Doug had to burn a lot. He's not going to contest you. Sino, though, might be contesting something. Harpy's not going to be too much to worry about there. Tier 1 towers. Down pretty much across the board. Only one stands in the mid lane, one on the left side. Just a matter of who decides to look for them first here. I'd love to see the bakery try to break down that last tier 1 in that mid lane. Open this map up for themselves, because that's going to be key in them finding a victory over Jump Machine. So far, they've had some very good fights. They've had a lot of good plays and coordinations. But they haven't been able to transition it into any meaningful objectives. Firebrands have all gone the way of Jump Machine. Gold Fury just got stolen away, so those are all in favor of Jump Machine. Pyromancer is up, but unless you get pressure in that mid lane, you're not getting it.
No, that's the big thing, right? And you have to start grabbing something if you're the bakery. Because what they were doing, and in the previous matchup, what it felt like the King's Court was doing so well was controlling macro. But Jump Machine have answered that this game. Obviously, they've had some micro down and team fighting down, right? That puts you at 18.5 minutes, and that gold lead, that to a point you made earlier, maybe not the most extravagant because it's per person, right? And there are some positive leads for the bakery. It makes it feel way worse in this instance. And Jump Machine also have the passive effects from now 2 Gold Furies on top of that. Soon, they might even have a Pyro bomb in pocket. The bakery do have an answer, and that forces Jump Machine off for the time being.
Wise to pull back from that one. I like the idea to try to start it up with your Zeus. Twig has the damage for it. As soon as more members show up, you gotta respect that. You also gotta respect the fact that you don't have eyes on Leo right now, which means this Thor can come down from anywhere. He's lurking over on this right side. So in Bakery turn their eyes towards the Pyromancer. I don't think Jump Machine have the numbers quite yet to pick it up. Karmic is here.
Twig might just walk up and into game with ultimate. That's always possible. Pyro's up, gets the chain across.
Oh, no.
That's a decent poke, and that's a Pyro!
I feel like a good thing
able to get it. Now there's the ultimates out! Jump Machine just know how to scrap.
Thor looking
for some kind of answer, but all you can do in the sky is watch the homies die on the land! Leo cannot do much. Valo's gonna look for the pick, gets the dash. Might not be able to kill Leo, though, with the tankiness, but look what it's causing. Spooky, Jump Machine walk over to fire, and there's no answer. What a play from Jump Machine.
It's just a little sloppy from the bakery to pull off of that.
Actually, I was trying to watch party
they've already got the
Super Smash Brothers thing in RuneScape.
You knew as soon as they pulled out,
you know, I was just gonna fucking skip in RuneScape anyway, you know?
And there just wasn't enough
bit of the
left in
stream during that,
and to push forward into Jump Machine. The
But
double
mighty,
freeze
you know?
into the lightning store was critical for that fight. It takes so much out of those health bars. And Leo, he's not doing bad by any stretch of the imagination, but these Anvils of Dawn are not landing where they need to right now. And it's allowing Valo to create so much space, the rest of his team just does whatever they want. Now eyes turn towards the Gold Fury, not going to commit to that because they've got a couple...
Delicacy pasta was in Delicacy Parmesan. I got some butter I'm gonna use. I'm not afraid to increase my cholesterol.
Sino, at least, who's almost dead. Valo can't lock it down. Just needs one more bit of damage, but can't get it. Gets plucked away. Now you've got Karmic here, but that ult's gonna hit. Twig took the scenic route and is blowing everybody up along that scenic route. Leo has to get up to the air just to get away.
Explosions.
Question mark?
No.
Away.
I was a little worried he was trying to dunk down onto.
Lee plays Thor, but old people suck dick.
He does not. It does mean you have to
Nah,
give
that's
up
too mean.
this next Gold Fury. That's the third one for Jump Machine, and all of a sudden, we've just seen this gold lead explode.
Like your mom's
Before it was 2,000 to 3,000, not too big a deal.
Dave, my mom is your honorable woman.
8.5 to 9,000.
It always says that.
It is a lot more difficult, and this is a great time for Jump
intelligent midgets.
Well, get all that gold in their pockets, out of their pockets,
Shots.
into
I mean, I've been
items,
living
and
27,
really establish a
28,
lead for
27
themselves.
years.
Fire Giant
But
still
for God's sake,
around
when
for
someone
another 2
gives
minutes
me your mama joke,
plus.
you're not supposed to actually defend her and
Towers,
consider
not in a great spot.
your
Tier
relationship
1
with your
website,
mother
you're
and
taken
go
down by
like.
Tegveer. That's just adding all the value
Sometimes it
to
doesn't
the
even
map
target anyone,
right
you know?
into Jump Machine. They control pretty much every objective in this game so far. To the point where I guess Twig just decides he's gonna ult the Diamond Queen.
I don't think he's having fun in this game. I think that's the best analysis we can give, right? He just seems like he's having a blast.
He's 7-1. Who wouldn't be having a blast at this point?
Yo,
But
mama's
it's
so
actually a really
fast.
smart decision, in my opinion, because you need to burn it down fast.
She made
You've
an
only got
appointment
so
with
much
Dr.
time
Pepper.
with this Fire Giant. The bakery doesn't know you just ulted
Here's
that.
one joke I made.
They're gonna assume you still
Your
have help
mama's
when you
so
walk up to them.
stupid.
And then
She
you can
hit my
drop these
parked
knives
car
on the
and
towers
died.
alongside your Fire Giant. This is a great push opportunity for Jump Machine. If you get caught like this, it's gonna be even better.
When you say the bakery doesn't know you ulted like that, you sound like a disgruntled employee, much like Leo.
Or explodes like C4, like a hamster being
No benefits
squished
when you're in
onto a bloody
unfortunately.
carpet.
Aurora takes some poke on the way back too, and Jump Machine are marching down the mid lane, now looking at a middle Phoenix, and it seems like there's no answer from said bakery. The mid Phoenix will fall. How far do you push it? Not into the throne room, at least.
No need to go throne room just yet. There's still 2 tier 2 standing. You still got a minute left on your Fire Giant. Play this one slow. Play this one smart. Go ahead and push these
The
down.
most cursed comments
Donut Doug to push these
I've
waves
heard
on
about
the
hamsters
right side.
dying
Jump Machine wants to
brutally
take down
instead of
this 2-2
normally.
on the right.
This guy like, my hamster bit me and I held in my hand, so I squished him and
Everything's
like
there.
through like C4 and it took a month, took a year to get the blood out of the carpet.
I did like that we saw a push there from Donut Doug. It's still weird for my brain to see a Poseidon split pushing and it not be, you know, a little weird.
Bro, he's got 3 rage
Oh,
stats.
look at this step through the jungle from the bakery, trying to cut off Jump Machine's exit route, but this could be problematic. Already a lot of damage onto Aurora.
Sorry, what I said earlier was
my
that
bad. Sorry, Tegveer. Jump
some
Machine now
ancient
step
Kraken
up, looking
tech
for the
is just putting
remaining
the Kraken
4.
behind someone and
Leo
knock
in
them
the
through
air,
with your
lands,
idle
catches, but is
surgeons
there enough
once,
for a
10
response?
years.
They're in a corridor, but they can't
But
bring
it
him down.
seems so
Double for
essential.
Tegveer. Maybe Sino? No, Sino.
Sino
Twig
has
brings
done
him
nothing
down.
this game.
Only
Loves
2 left standing for the
professionally done
bakery.
nothing.
One of them's got crit at least. Moswell's
Most
able
were
to get
clears
a
that boy,
side
you know.
hit onto the one of Karmic. But damage is so done there. 3
Fat and
dead for the
stable.
bakery. Jump Machine even got funneled into the
Predictable,
ideal
not kidding.
situation for the bakery to fight, and they still couldn't find many picks.
That's just the nature
Starring
of a 12k
starch.
gold deficit there, Malum. You can find the best fight, but if it's a 5-on-5, you're still going to lose that simply because of how much tankier their tanks are, how much more damage their damage has. And I guess we're just diving into Happen. We're not going to find anything for it, Doug. I think you might have gone a little too far. The bakery is closed, my friend. This is not where you're supposed to be.
Oh my god. That was good. That was real good.
Well, no,
Sure.
actually, it was
Sure,
a play. I don't know if it was good.
Well, I mean, it was good in the sense of like Mall Cop good, you know?
What is that?
Paul Blart's Mall Cop? Never seen that movie?
Never heard of it.
One of the best movies ever made.
All right, sounds like we're gonna have a movie night here, Malum. We're gonna check that out a little bit later.
Me, you, and Kevin James.
Just you, me, and the Fire Giant for Jump Machine here to make their way
Love
right
it,
on
made my
over to
glasses
it.
fog. Oh my god.
But hey, I like this. We're having an objective trade. All right, the bakery has recognized they cannot contest Jump Machine around these objectives. So what do? You take what you can. Get the Gold Fury. That's gonna go down the way of bakery. That's their first stack to it. You know, we take what we can get. Still gonna be tough though to contest against Fire Giant around all 5 of Jump Machine. I don't know if they have much of a defense. They got to get back fast. Luckily, do make the reset. If Leo doesn't get back quickly, though. I think this is a tough defense for the Bakery. They've only got 3 there.
You'd be correct in thinking so. Tegvir's got the dagger, worth noting there as well. Still has yet to die. Going to be even harder to make that happen now. Karmic in the left lane. So an instant answer for the push we just saw. Leo.
I feel like when I die, I want to say, spaghetti, falling down on a bus, or just
Yay! Now biding their time, looking for the end, trying to continue that undefeated streak.
It's tough to have that anvil down because there's not a lot of cooldown in Leo's build right now. You got the Genji's guard, but that's about it right now.
Spaghetti.
Karmic's just gonna take the long way through. I mean, Phoenix is up. Karmic, I don't know if you kill him here. This is a red herring for them to step into the right side, which they do. Jump machine ready to end it. A Kraken out. Not gonna do much of anything. Valo's standing through. Doug will go down. Now you've got Twig stepping up. And on to the Titan goes Karmic. The Bakery might just be getting closed and sent down to the lower bracket. Jump Machine looking to stay undefeated. Tegvir looking to stay deathless. Valo will get popped by Aurora, but that's just one. The Titan is still being sieged out. Moswell, the defense on that Titan. But with the waves there too, the dagger is good. The Titan will fall, so will Moswell. And Jump Machine take the victory and move on.
Man, this was just clinical from Jump Machine. That is a 20-6 scoreboard by the end of things. The critical part of that game for the Bakery was they had to get Leo down on top of the back line, and they had to follow up on it quickly and just burst him. It didn't happen, That's just the story of the game. They were not able to get into that back line. Tegvir undying through the whole thing, completely deathless. Twig, yeah, he took a spill, but it was only one. And he did not die again after that, and the damage was always consistent from them. You couldn't reach them, but they sure as hell could reach you.
That was tough. That was a tough end. The beginning, the whole middle half too, honestly, it seemed like there was always that potential for the Bakery to pull off the upset there.
Yeah.
It couldn't come together. Things just got a little out of hand, and it seemed like it was just... it feels like it's both with Tegvir going deathless and Twig going 9-1. In a weird way, neither feels like it happened. You know, we didn't see too much fighting from Tegvir that was not safe fighting, I guess you would make sense to say. And for Twig, we saw a couple plays that, to quote you, you know, like he was just kind of inting. So it's very interesting that this game would go as dominant for a Jump Machine as it did. But for the Bakery, I will say they're bringing a lot of positives down to that lower bracket, and going up against Jump Machine, that also, I think, brings you up a step as you go into that lower bracket.
Yeah, I definitely think there were pieces that were working for the Bakery. It's just that not everyone's on the same page, and what they needed to be landing wasn't quite getting there. I think Sino not having that blink was a big detriment to his ability to impact the fights, because every time he had to take very obvious pathing forward, he couldn't drop any hugely impactful storm calls, and the Thor just wasn't getting the anvils he needed to be finding. And Val, man, like, genuinely, he was just running through entire teams. There were a couple times where I was like, well, what's Valo doing all the way up here? And then the big heal comes through, and you're like, oh, well, that's what Valo's doing up here. He's just soloing the other guys.
That's why I've always liked Valo and hyper carries, because Valo makes everything look like a hyper carry. So when he's on a hyper carry, it's that much
like
gross.
A hyper carry. You're right.
Yeah, it's just Valo things.
Just Valo things. And you know, one thing that I didn't really touch on was Happen, and I feel a little bit guilty about that, because there were so many walls that came up where I just thought, wow,
I'm sure Tess will let you have it after.
Jump Machine the entire fight. I want to kind of focus in on that one fight you had, right? In the narrow corridor, Leo finds a great ultimate onto like all 5 people, and you think, wow, well, how does Jump Machine get out of this? Well, it's because Happen just throws up a wall on the other side, and suddenly there's no more damage coming through there, and everyone just turns and burns every target down. Everyone on Jump Machine was just on the same page. There was so much synergy there. It's a tough team to beat.
Yeah, that kind of was the key in that moment, and that's just what Happen does. And I'm sure as we head into our break, Tess will give you all the lore and rundown of how much of a believer they are over Happen. But we've got more gaming to go, more Smite Prime. We're crowning our winner. for April today, so do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Look at that, Chad. 300 grams of serious spaghetti. I poured Parmesan and turned the pasta over. Poured more Parmesan in spirits. Clear it for me to stomp. Yes, I wasn't gonna taste any better.
Got the throw again, back into the corner. Want to try it again and risk it for the biscuit if you will, but punish counter already. Second throw of the round. Sequan trying to risk it, especially after Sandblast. Had to try for the OD, but Hippo pressured back still.
It's a one-touch scenario, I do believe. You find a jump in, something clean with some drive gauge behind it. Get something more a little bit light. Oh, if you would have whip punished that, I was waiting for it.
Oh.
The stomp, back heavy kick plus, while we pressing buttons.
Odie's kick again, back into it in the level 3 conversion.
Damaging to the drive gauge. It should give Hippo the lead here, a slight one, but enough to get things done. But that does mean that that level 3 turns into CA. More damage on the way, and Qua's able to hit it. Don't have much drive gauge as he had before. Drive rush overhead this time, stand block against that, just not get opened up. Now block slow.
Better be blocking. We are just one step away from either going to Memphis and getting barbecue, and Hippo's situation might be ending this early. Aqua ain't careful enough. Oh, the backhand coming in with
another one.
And again, not enough for the
No, the time it right the back throw, doing it wrong.
Ooh, that's a nasty throw. Hippo still alive. Some signs of life here.
Listen, he almost dropped that game-winning combo. Look, he still up the lockout system right there, but game on the board for him. Either way, you take that. No matter how you got it, you take that, you run with it.
True, true. So we still have some moment of momentum here, especially for Hippo. You have to be careful, though. You were just one away.
So we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll see what happens as we get closer and closer towards the finale. Of course, tomorrow will be that finale. The top 4 will be moving up, and the rest, well, will be on the sadder side.
True, not gonna lie though, even if you do somehow end up in losers, you still got that gauntlet run, right? You still have that chance, but it's still scary because obviously you don't want all the heavy hitters there just yet.
Crouching meaty punch to start things off, the drop behind it, and then with the back fist as much as possible. Back heavy kick, that's meaty. It's the bomb off already. Could have been worse, but look at how much health has been taken within 10 seconds.
I was about to say, already down to damage here, 20, maybe 30% if you're lucky enough, but Quad can be that much of a problem even with the jump over, still able to hit the upper.
I think that Quad hasn't really found the moment for access for damage. It is harder for Luke overall, you know, especially in these seasons where he's gotten nerfed. His buttons aren't nearly as prevalent or as powerful. Like stand medium kick is 8 frames out, crouching medium punch has a hurt box on it finally. But now we find the victory right here if we don't drop the combo. Yeah, hit him with the me. Yes, sir. There we go, Qua. I'm like, man, find some openings. He's like, bet, I got you.
Exactly.
Don't worry
just
about
find something, anything to hold on to, and already again, Qua back on set point here.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Walk back against the plus frame city. We'll see if Quad goes for like crouching light kick when he gets closer with that button. That's been a good way to catch that walk back. Drive reversal will kick the bomb off. OD in again.
OD back in the throw at that into the corner. They want to go for the loop, but trying to jump out of it. Has to be careful from that pronate pressure. That air coming into it from Hippo right now. Off the knees and into the OD.
Yes. Oh, I'm surprised he can go to level 3. Maybe he didn't think it was going to kill. One touch will though.
I'm sorry, you guys have to be patient. Like
he on the Titanic.
Well, it's not 20 minutes this time.
Different than what we usually expect from Qua in terms of his defense.
It's got to be scary though. That panic button upper and still got slammed with bomb. That's a little unfortunate. It does happen, but you just saw just a moment there. Okay, will it not work? Unfortunately, did not. And now for Hippo, Anthem seemingly on his side here.
Bomb is on again. Oh, that slows down the game. Or a combo blocked out, takes a turn back. Should have been a whip punish. In a different multiverse, that would have been a punish and a half. That would have been in the steamroll towards success. It's one more interaction, put this buddy to rest, and it's not looking so good. Look at how much bar Hippo has. He has him in the corner.
I was about to say, plenty still, and if you are in Qua, I mean, you don't want to risk the burnout scenario here in any way, shape, or form. The OD crush back into the wall. Another perfect for Hippo.
Very confident walk-up crouch shooting kick. Even with the bar at the bottom, I mean, you have such a big lead. It's your game to win. You see the tendencies of Qua, who doesn't usually bust out ODDP, doesn't usually, you know, make these wild decisions that are leading to, I think,
yo, Twitch, you're gonna get some drops by watching Smite here.
Right now, Hippo able to tie this 2-2. I mean, so far it was looking like Qua all day here, but now you find yourself at set point scenario multiple times, and then Bison coming to ruin it.
Yeah, that's the thing about this character. These jump pierces are, I think he's looking for, I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know if he's looking for like a dash up or something like that. Now we're done playing neutral. Pierce, initiate for the throw. Lay him on the mat.
About to say, Qua really likes to play the corner game a little too well here, but for Hippo, starting to get the adjustments and the reads, especially the OD scissor kicks. Also the rush again into the rising knee, but looking out too far here.
Pretty decent combo right there, but the walk back crouching medium punch. Hippo taking a page out of Qua's book, drive reversal to back him up a bit now. Yeah, it's him that's on the back foot. The anti-air is there.
That DP as well, but instead gets interrupted by the super.
Yeah, can't leave any gaps. Level 1, puts him against the wall. And he caught him coming through the door, closed it right in his face. Can you believe it? Set point, Hippo was getting washed.
To think that moments ago, Hippo was not looking too hot here, and now Qua finding himself on the other end of this. The OD DP coming into it though, tried the running knee, and instead has to go for wall pressure throw again.
That fierce fireball, oh, meaty fireball. Hippo takes the hit, now goes for the super. He wants to keep the drive gauge as much as possible. Does not want to be in burnout. I like these wake-up decisions here from Hippo. Scissor kick's gonna be able to punish this, but maybe not close enough or timed right with the crouch medium punch follow up on the punish counter.
Not just yet, goes through the knuckle, and right now Qua really bursting down the health possibility to put us on.
He wants to sue them and shut them down.
Or maybe it's an opportunity to watch Bernie.
To Mr. Trump, if you can't
accept about the world,
criticism, get out of the political process. That's what democracy is about. And let me talk a little bit about something that the media doesn't talk about and we don't talk about in Congress at all. And that is the reality that today we have 60% of our people living paycheck to paycheck. We have more income and wealth inequality that we have ever had in the history of the country. And as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, we now have a corrupt campaign finance system in which billionaires in both political parties are controlling the political and legislative agenda. And I think this is an issue, whether you're a Republican, progressive, conservative, whatever you may be. Nobody thinks that American democracy is about Elon Musk contributing $270 million to elect Trump and then becoming the most important person in government. So, brothers and sisters, when we talk
Han kan bli skolas i
about the
barnstund.
future of America and our
It's really
political
politics.
system, at the top of our agenda must be
Really
the need to
respond.
end this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision. And move to public funding of elections. Now, let me tell you something which you're not going to hear much about in the corporate media, and you're not going to hear much about in the halls of Congress. And that is that today, the average American worker in real inflation accounted for dollars is earning less than he or she did 50 years ago. Now, you know why the American people are angry? They're angry because they're looking around them. They're seeing a huge increase in worker productivity. And yet all of that wealth is going to the people on top, not to the working class of this country. And we are here tonight, we're here today to say loudly and clearly that we demand an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top.
Ja, we're the money, we're the people.
And by the way, we need a Democratic Party which makes a fundamental choice. And that is, are you on the side of the working class of this country or not? There are millions of working people whose families used to vote Democratic, and they look and they say, why do we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country? Why is it that I'm working longer hours for low wages? Why is it that I can't afford health care? Why is it that I can't afford my rent or my mortgage? Why is it that I can't afford to send my kid to college? And the Democratic Party is finally going to have to say, we stand with those people. We're prepared to take on the greed of corporate America. But when we talk about the Democratic Party, it is not just domestic issues, and I'm going to get into that in a moment. It is also foreign policy as well. Donald Trump believes that Ukraine started the war with Russia. Well, Mr. Trump, get your history correct. It was Russia and that terrible dictator, Vladimir Putin, that began that war. And we will stand with democracy and not with authoritarian people all over the world. But it's not just the Ukraine. I strongly oppose Biden's continued military support to the horrific Netanyahu war against the people of Gaza.
Because that's one thing that both of these teams are very good at. If I'm Cherry Slush, I mean, I'm looking to
Oh, it's not the final. It's just the final day.
make some aggressive plays, look for those invades.
Shit.
Also want to be able to zone people off of these objectives, because I do not want to see Jump Machine just walk in and say, here's a base.
1,000 wounded, and the entire infrastructure of Gaza has been destroyed. Right now, as bad as that, and I want you to hear this because this is important, as bad as what Biden has did and what Trump is now doing, Trump has another idea, which is so crazy, so unimaginable that you can't really believe they are seriously talking about it. But what they are talking about today is forcibly expelling 2.2 million Palestinians from their own place of living. And converting Gaza into a playground for the rich, a new Riviera for Trump and his friends. We will never, never allow that to happen.
What happens? You can get away from the war.
Now, I work in the U.S. Senate, so I'm around people who are able to talk more and say less than any group of human beings in the history of the world. So when we talk about where we want to go as a nation, we have got to talk with some specificity, not in general terms. And what I'm begging of you is when you hear candidates who want your vote, be tough on them. Ask them hard questions. Are they unequivocally prepared to reject corporate PAC funding? At a time when billionaires have enormous power in both parties, are they prepared to work vigorously to overturn Citizens United? Today in America, the top wealthiest person in this country, if you can believe it, owns more wealth than the bottom 53% of households. Got that? One guy. Top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. CEOs now make 350 times more than their average workers.
350 times?
So these people on top,
take it easy, I'm Sweden,
they're very religious people. But it's a strange kind of religion. You know, all of the major religions on earth speak in one way or another about doing unto others as you would like them to do unto you, right? Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever. Kind of that's the heart and soul of many major religions. What the religion of these oligarchs are is greed, greed, and more greed. And that greed is destroying our country. We got to stand up to it and end it.
He's not afraid to speak left stuff. Holy shit, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game.
So it is not just about not giving them massive tax breaks that Trump wants. It's about telling these large corporations and billionaires they are going to start paying their fair share of taxes. All over America, workers want to join unions. And they want to join unions because they know that when you're in a union, you can negotiate decent wages, working conditions, and benefits. But employers know that too. And they're making it harder and harder for workers to join unions. That's why we need to pass legislation that punishes any employer who denies workers the constitutional right to form a union.
Yeah, that shit's important. We learned that. The most important things for the masses to control the one factory over
here in Pennsylvania and in many parts of this country, there are workers earning starvation wages. Millions of workers all over America. Shamefully, the federal minimum wage remains at $7.25 an hour. Can you believe that? Nobody in America can live on $7.25 an hour. That is why we got to raise that federal minimum wage to at least $17 an hour.
Oh, this is 17. Fuck yeah, that gets me all hyped up.
As I mentioned, I was in Harrisburg yesterday talking to some kids, and many of them want to be able to go to college, go to graduate school. A young lady wanted to be a pediatrician. Somebody wanted to be a psychologist. Others wanted to be construction workers, get the training they need to do the work this country desperately needs. But they were all worried about whether or not they could afford to go to college and the huge kind of debt they would assume if they did go to college. We need the best educated workforce in the world. We need more doctors, we need more nurses, we need more mental health counselors, we need more electricians, sheet metal workers, carpenters. Young people should not have to go into a lifetime of
in
debt
Sweden, that's one of the reasons
in order
why
to get the
university is free.
education they need and
We
our
pay for
country
it
needs
as
from
workers.
them.
Ironically, still in Sweden, you have to take out a fucking loan so you can afford to pay rent and eat groceries while you're studying. So it's kind of half as expensive, but yeah, we need a way to make sure that you don't have to take out a loan at all, I guess.
Or less. You believe that? Try being a senior living on $15,000. Try being anybody living on $15,000. Some Republicans want to cut Social Security. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand Social Security by lifting the cap on taxable income.
Usually it's so fucking difficult for left politicians to raise
States
taxes.
Of America today
The other right
is the only
politicians lower
major
taxes, they
country
stay
on
low.
earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right.
Come on, Chad, come on people, we gotta make it popular to raise taxes. Gotta
We
get the money from
spend over
fucking someone. Those who cannot afford it are
$14,000
the
per
rich.
person on health care, and yet we got 85 million Americans uninsured, underinsured, over 60,000
They need a
die
million,
each
we need
year
a million.
because they can't get to a doctor on time. The function of healthcare is not to make billions for drug companies and insurance companies.
Yeah, that's very Swedish Scandinavian thought. Healthcare is not about making money.
The function of a rational healthcare system is to provide quality care to every man, woman, and child. We're going to do that through a Medicare for all single-payer program.
Sobek for happen. So I'm disappointed, obviously.
I think this was foolish of me because I thought, what's a
Bang, 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 bang,
I don't have to do a whole lot.
Bang, 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 bang,
How
bang,
foolish of me
bang.
to think that Karmic wouldn't want something far more proactive. This isn't someone who just wants to stall things out. He wants
This
to
is just a
he
Pocahontas.
wants to be active in the lane against Cherry.
It's not. It's really not.
If you're allowing Cherry to just farm the wave and then walk away, you're doing a disservice because you're allowing him to rotate so much more, like Scream's rotating here.
Does get caught, blinks past Valo. And that'll just kind of dispel the whole thing there. Just, yeah, minimal interest in continuing. Scream will get aggressive in the jungle. Twig's been winning the auto trade out with Slayer in the mid lane while this has all been going down. Fenrir gets the red. This is going to be a bit of a messy start because Fenrir is going to see the Aladdin. So Valo on a hunt of Scream. Scream taking the minions. Scream's just going to... Yeah, he's just got to die in that instance because otherwise he'll go away to Valo. Valo does get the assist though.
It does give a little pressure to the mid lane as well because Cherry Slush
Happens the wave.
that way means those minions took a step back, focus on Scream just a little bit there. It's going to make the wave push up in favor of Cherry. Question is how much value you can get out of that, right? Can you keep Twig down? It's a little bit harder. Whirlpool combined with the title
Inbound looks like he's the caster this year, he's a player, maybe both.
Doesn't last very long.
Competitive support again. That's pretty fucking stacked team on Sherry Sludge.
I hate
You got Sherry,
I never want to see him
all
in games ever.
important.
It's annoying.
Important Smite 1 players. Slayer has some. Needs to grow as a player and a person. He is impatient and too aggressive and
that's gross.
Yeah, aspect of fortification.
Thinks about things too simply.
A little bit tankier means he can stay in that lane.
Means he's still some entertaining streamer though. When it's going on Nubis, you're ranked, but
you've got behind you. You don't need to have tons and tons.
Sometimes all you need is being crazy.
You got Aladdin to bring that magic damage. You can afford to be just a little bit tankier and stay in this lane, because what that does is it makes it a little bit harder for Twig to also leave the lane, because you're just constantly there threatening to push stuff down, threatening to clear waves out.
Oh man,
forced out.
The wish was great. The first blood is good. Scream will
fall.
So
technically worked.
One back, but the wish for power there to get through and get that extra bit of damage across was really smart from Scream. Now you have an answer from Valo. Will Cherry go down? The stun.
The fucking beats, man.
No, Cherry will not fall. Would have been even better had there been another response pick there from Jump.
He did something smart, but it wasn't smart enough.
I really like what Valo tried to do though, is pre-beads the Thor stun so that he didn't get caught out of the brutalize. Cherry though, very good player, simply waits for the beads to be done and then drops the wall, gets to walk away for free. Good execution for both sides. Does still end up slightly in favor of Cherry Sludge, the first blood bounty going over. Down game pluck could be big though.
Hey, have you met Aladdin? He's here a little late. Inbound's already down. Tegveer gets a step away. The attention goes to Happen. He's got the jukes, but one more bit of damage.
Scream is here.
And it'll be there. Scream is able to find it, and we'll get some poke out to Tegveer for good measure.
I gotta call him a Laldin because of what YouTube poops. It was 20 years in YouTube. A lol, balal. LeBlanc games. Never forget that Jimmy here, the streamer, said LeBlanc instead for LeBron. This bald guy over here. So I'm gonna say he's developed, evolved into a horse.
He wants to find some kind of lead early on in the map and try to keep some of these laners down a little bit further. And I don't think that's a bad call at all.
That guy.
Simply because of how well both teams play that late game. Why allow your opponent to play to their strengths? You can't do that. I mean, you also can't do this inbound.
Yeah, that's a...
People always say it was bald under the beanie, but now we know.
Oh, wait, where's the lamp, though?
Twig gets a knockback. Looks to try to go down with Slayer, but can't find it. Almost able to get it, but Scream locks it down.
Well, that time Twig needs to be even better.
Gets the bite down on the Slayer. Brutalize, can't follow through. Scream goes back in, gets caught.
Well, it was kind of correct passing by Scream, but he still got hit.
So Valo can't bring unlucky. Scream by the hair.
Sounds like onion in Swedish.
Yeah, we saw 23 HP. That was after a couple seconds of HP regen. That man was in single digits off of that one. Crazy that he jumped back into Valo 2 levels down with a minion wave there. I like the gumption, but maybe just a little bit more reservation would go a long way. So far, Valo has been doing a very good job on the map, quietly proving himself that 2-level lead over Scream. Means he's going to be able to do a little bit more on his ganks. Ragnarok is down for the time being. That'll come up in no time, though. In the meantime, Stream's got to find a way to try to pull himself back into parity. It's going to be tough, because Valo just keeps on going.
Yeah, just non-stop. The pullback from inbound. The Kraken's the answer. Scream jumps into action, looks for any. Can't find any so far.
Very well with Sobek Plug.
Not hidden quite as hard as it needs to bring the lead down. Rotations out though from dual lane. Coast looks for Twig.
A monkey.
Jump back in from Scream, looking for more. Gets crippled. Damage real good, but the lamp is going to be even better. Now Scream looks for that 1v1. Can't find it so far because Tegveer stepped in and was enough of a difference maker. Twig will survive for now. And down goes Scream. On the outside of the lamp, there were even more picks for the jump machine. Twig will finally fall to Slayer, but the retreat won't be good enough. Double for Tegveer. 8-5 now for the jump machine.
And Jump Machine saw what Cherry Slush was trying to do, and they said, you know what? Fine. You think we're only long game players? That's not the case, buddy. We'll take the fight every day of the week. And he turned around handily onto Cherry Slush. And frankly, a big portion of this is just how far ahead Valo is right now. I don't even genuinely know how he got this lead. He was so quiet. He picks up 2 kills, 3 assists. He was ahead before that last fight.
People will never forget Bernie. He will always have done this impact on America. He's changing America into a left country in the way that makes sense by every other country on earth. America is literally the only country in the world that doesn't have universal healthcare. It's all about running away with the fucking money, letting people die and get sick as a result. Or make themselves, doesn't matter if it's so fucking expensive that they run out of money, right?
But the fact that Cherry Slush doesn't have
cancer bankrupts people in America, and people don't know that the diet is causing it, you know, and smoking, but people know that.
But it's a team process.
We're eating we eat a normal diet because it's what we eat. It's normal, but it's not a normally healthy diet. The chance to get cancer is almost guaranteed. With like 90% if you get old enough when you eat normal diet, you know. To avoid cancer today, we used to consciously do something about it with your diet. It has to be anti-cancer diet. You have to eat walnuts, spinach, less meat, less dairy. Meat causes cancer, IGF-1 causes cancer.
With the ult to catch Karmic, that's gross. Now Scream in his own ult, trying to escape.
Well, can't take that.
Twig and might suffer a similar fate to Karmic. So
what
far,
are those abilities, man?
But you can't juke the Brutalize. That auto-locks. On the way out of the lamp, do they have trouble? No, not at all.
You want to eat wheat germ. You want to eat raw broccoli powder.
After a great play
was in for a thing.
In the air, though.
Scream.
You want fruits, you want vegetables.
Back a little bit faster. Not a whole lot.
The chance to die in a hospital from cancer in one place was 25%. But when they ate a vegan diet in the hospital, it raised to 50%. No, what am I saying? Twice. It's the double their chance of surviving.
And frankly, there aren't a whole lot of tools to do that. He follows Solaire through the backfire.
Vegan diet needs to be the standard in hospitals. Can't make people sick while they're in the fucking hospital. I think that's pretty easy to agree with, actually. And you don't even need the soy hamburgers more than when you're in the hospital. And now we can also start. You can also start forcing doctors to eat vegan diets as well if they're prescribing a diet.
They're not in this mid-fight. They're not.
If they can't smoke, they can't eat meat.
Interacting with Valo, and so that stun doesn't matter.
That one's hard to agree with.
Doesn't matter unless you can get these guys out of their lanes.
But it's true. Your doctor is gonna get a heart attack, a stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer today.
If you're gonna fight like that,
because of their diet, doesn't matter how much many pills they can prescribe.
So far behind, it's just gonna be tougher on the bear.
The doctor you should trust is the vegan doctors that Dr. Michael Greger.
Has to be up to.
He's talking about health and fitnesses. That's why I have the health fitness tag.
In those bigger fights.
Yeah, there's supports that are fine being behind, and there's supports that really need to be at least at parity. Sobek is one of those guys where if I fall behind, all right, it kind of sucks for me. But if I land one good charge,
it's an interesting statistic. I think I can add. Being vegan is 5 times better against cancer than just exercising a lot.
Because there's a fight in the mid lane, Scream leading the charge.
Beads out from Valo to avoid the lamp.
You should exercise a lot.
Cherry, but you need more from the Thor. Valo's still alive. A Kraken brings down Scream. They dove to
swab to death with you.
Will pay.
Valo taken so low, but undying, was not able to find that shutdown. Now Scream takes a fall, putting himself even further behind. This Aladdin has so much potential, but with the deficit he's working from, it's really tough to perform on this character. It's another god who needs to be parodied. We're still looking for more fights.
Twig waits for the landing with the Whirlpool, and Slayer will go down. Happens the one that gets the credit. Cherry Slush just continuing to fall further and further behind. Now down 6 kills, but more importantly, down over 3,000 gold to Jump Machine.
Twig is playing Poseidon in Pro Smite League. This is as he has done last 10 years. Different roles.
As you pointed out, the further you get behind, the Aladdin feels even less effective. Of course, the Baron is still struggling to come
I want you, Chat, to seriously consider going vegan or vegetarian at least. But if that's too much, go 50% vegan, 75%, 25%.
Just outscaled you.
The simplest, cleanest solution is to just slow things down a
little. Here's another interesting thought I thought of just now. Live until you're 85, 90 on average, which you can with vegan diet, doing everything correctly. Like not being overweight, for example. So that when you work your entire life, you just get to have a 20-year semester, you know? Of high quality, good health. But then again, the chance of getting cancer naturally goes up from like 20% to 80% from when you're 60 to 80. So that's really the time to eat the spinach, you know? Getting cancer naturally is very likely. But once you get into 80, it doesn't appear to increase anymore. Source, how not to age. It's all fucking true, of course. I've sourced it. Can't argue with that.
Try to make this fight work. Twig dies on the outside of the lamp. That's pretty massive, so less of a risk when you come out of it if you're Scream. Happen having a hard time in the 1v1.
This is an interesting thing I thought of. I told my grandmother, you know, you have low blood pressure, you run your entire life, you're on good weight, you know, you don't have to worry about stroke and heart attack, it's the most common cause of death, 2-3%. You just have to worry about cancer, I think. If you're gonna live a long ass time, you know, you got everything done. She still exercises a lot, as much as she can. The stupid hip replacements that prevents her from running and cycling, and I want her. I'm trying to make her eat pills and broccoli and spinach and walnuts and stuff. I really want her to outlive us, outlive us all.
A lot more easily and try to make some more aggressive plays to take farm away. They got the runic bomb in pocket, means they can look for a good push.
I noticed if you eat a bag of walnuts, we have 10 walnuts per day, maybe 15. You really notice a kind of process going on in your body, a process of like cleansing yourself from whatever cancer you have.
We haven't seen Karmic rotate over much so far.
What's up, Cadence?
Machine plays through Karmic in team fights, so that is one thing worth noting. That all of this is
thanks to the copy pasta
from solo, as Karmic's had a pretty tough go of it.
I really read it about Discord, you know. Now I didn't read those, by the way. Kick shots.
Kind of a scary spot for inbound.
I know after 300 of these copy pastas, I know all of them, and I'm not gonna read them as a normal message.
Tech Viewer will get pulled back by inbound, waiting for Scream for backup. Scream
I'm not delete them, but
and will get
the process kind of feels like being on medicine, you could say. That's your mind.
Trying to tank through it, but Valo seems more than willing to
it's kind of feels like losing weight, you know, difference between being 90 kilos to 60 kilos. And it also ends up with you shitting out the bad stuff in the bathroom afterwards, and then you really feel a difference.
And caught is Slayer back to Jump Machine and sent packing by Valo.
Buy a few 100 grams of walnuts, Chat. Keep your cancer in check right now.
Over here on the left side, things start off with inbound trying to make a play on.
I also noticed, I guess I didn't say that, but I also noticed getting sharper and smarter. Kind of like I lost all my cholesterol, I'm losing weight, that kind of feeling. And yeah, it's kind of hard to. It's a lot to think of. It's hard to figure out why, but.
Yeah, Scream, you took one out of the fight, but you're never winning the 1v1 against Valo right now. He's 6-0, you're 2-6. He's got a lot of basic damage online. He's simply out DPSing what Scream can do, and so taking him out of the equation doesn't really do a whole lot for you. When he can just.
Yeah, it feels like I have like fast reflexes or something. I'm sharper. Faster.
Yeah, one thing that's tough too is
just eating fucking walnuts. Walnut diet.
For Aladdin, Scream, I mentioned it, was sort of the first Aladdin we got to see.
I promise, it's just walnuts.
It was the first Aladdin we got to see.
Power of walnuts. Get you antioxidants and omega-3 and minerals. Magnesium, Swords.
Since back in Vegas, we've
Call him a
seen
shot if you want to. Still worth it.
Use Aladdin in the mid lane, and he's also been using the jungle with the.
If you pay attention too, just eat fucking walnuts.
Power spike. You don't have that now.
I'm the kind of person who knows the difference between one walnut though. I am, because I'm autistic, Asperger's, maybe I am completely introspective to my body.
And then just try to survive while the rest of the team does work on the
so bad got it.
Wow, the combo! It's fantastic! Slayer's able to bring down
Slap him in the nuts and bite him in the leg.
Set up perfect by Cherry. Oh man, what a play from the Thor. Hidden 4, the flank was there. And I thought he'd go in. I just
so did a bunch of extensive science about nuts and seeds.
Perfect play coming out from
eating seeds and nuts every day so is associated with longevity, living 2 years longer. Especially with walnuts, if you eat it a handful 3 times per week, which some people do, you decrease your chance of getting cancer 50%.
But in the lamp, a great play from Screen to take Valo out of the equation of the steal.
So I'm gonna have to read that book. I don't know, not age down. Eat walnuts, eat walnuts, eat walnuts.
Seal the fire. Valo doesn't go down. It's a disaster for Cherry Slush. Can they improvise and find anything from it? They sure can. They'll get it.
Shit hit the fan here, and everyone's covered.
Double through it.
Smells
so
like. I did watch the fights.
This could be worse. Oh, man, this can't be worse for Cherry Slush, man. You lost Fire Giant to a
eat less meat shots, less dairy, more vegan stuff, more walnuts.
On to Valo, and it's not a bad decision, right? You have to make sure that this.
The best thing you can do against one of the biggest problems with diabetes is soda. But since you can do is cut out as much soda as you can, or go sugar-free. It's pretty interesting. I think this is seriously interesting. It's like everyone's health interested somehow when I say stuff like this. Sugar-free soda impacts blood sugar about half as much because of sweeteners, as sugar is half as bad as drinking
salt. But you shouldn't have had to take it off of anyone. That was your
for bad diabetes.
Objective to start, and it goes completely south. Now Jump Machine, completely in the driver's seat. It was close and contentious before, but this gives a lot of momentum over to these objectives now. Tier 1s, they stand, not for very long.
You know, one thing I wonder, Scream obviously has the same and more knowledge.
Valo is 6-0.
They had to have known.
2 defense items. Yes, it's difficult to deal with.
Kind of Valo's thing. I'll stand in this pit.
Any more defense?
Going to have a chance to steal it.
Probably got the boomerangs.
So we saw the lamp
Monsters
come out,
defense.
Taking that kind of insider knowledge out of it. Putting the
Inbound got that pig transforming item again.
What happened? Being able to be so clutch in that instance and get that steal is just so unexpected. I feel like Cherry Slush just thought the same thing. Like, oh, Valo is the problem here. For sure. There was still just a Sunder in play. So, you know, egg on all of our faces in that instance. Now Jump Machine, they can start cleaning up the map, right? But a fight is horrifying now.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about me sourcing the healthy stuff I talk about on stream, because I can source everything, and I usually do. Sometimes show a source or two if it's like a good article or something. It's other people that don't source their helpful claims. I do.
Maybe he can. He avoids the ultimate from Slayer. Gets that damage on. Now you've got backup.
Yeah, you like reading about healthy stuff. The books, How Not to Age, How Not to Diet, How Not to Die, is completely revolutionizing your thoughts and effectively formulating your health.
So a massive shutdown for Scream. Now level 19, he blinks to the lamp to get out. He
and then dies.
The attempt was there, but there was a trap waiting.
Like, I gave the book How Not to Die. It's a good book about how not to die. Goes through the most 10 most common causes of death, how to prevent them. It's pretty useful, right?
for Cherry Slush.
I gave it to my grandmother, and she was 75% vegan. I kind of knew that could happen though, because she's been vegetarian before, and she doesn't know that kind of stuff either. You know, she hasn't been exposed to these healthy ideas. Just like if you're a vegan, you might also have a completely different perspective on animals. You're exposed to ideas of animals being equal in many ways.
Lose a lot of their fire giant, Karmic.
So, it's an interesting thought. I think you might not encounter again, chat. If you choose to wander down the same path as vegans and vegetarians, in health, you know, you're gonna learn all kinds of shit you wouldn't if you were just going for being reasonable with your health.
Recognizes he's not here just for the damage anymore. This Fenrir base damage does fall off at a certain point, and he's okay with that.
I've been vegan for 2 years, vegetarian for 10. It's kind of like cursed knowledge, right? It's like you know so much, and there's so much people need to know, right? But they don't care. They don't even care if they die sometimes, right? It's unfortunately people don't care, but it's still true that it's very important stuff.
That's annoying for Valo. The turret secured the red, so Valo couldn't steal it. Oh, that's the worst. I hate that character. All right.
Let's just remove him.
Oh, don't.
You know that the diet makes you shit the most is the vegan diets.
A world where that's the case. Anyway.
Well, how about I source that one then?
There's a fire giant that just now is respawning. What are our keys for whenever this fight breaks out?
Makes you shit the most is the vegan diet. If you want to shit as much as possible,
around this fire giant. Reality of the matter is,
vegans can poop more. You can have vegan diets. Makes it easy to exceed the normal amount of fiber per day. It's not usual to daily poops for vegans, or 2 or 3.
So instead, you're looking for ultimate to come through from Slayer.
My shits are massive. Well, here's the source straight from another person.
Able to beat.
It's the fiber. It is not the digested.
For sure. Just a matter of how much poke you take first.
Vapor goes down, dealing as much damage as possible, and as you always should.
Fire, despite there being 2 on the left-hand side of the map, because they're 2 spread out in this instance. Plus, the one dead is there.
You shoot about twice as much as other people.
For sure. Aladdin 1v1 with Twig. The Kraken's going to be early. Now Scream's got the advantage.
I love
Help
poop science.
Is not nearby, but Twig is simply able to avoid it. I guess Scream thought the jump machine was slightly closer.
So much time for Jump Machine to play with right now. Vapor's being down for 30 more seconds means they can fish for any picks they want. They can play this fire giant super slow. And I think it's wise for them to not try to go for it while they know Slayer is still on the map. If that Earthshaker comes through at the right moment, you can be looking at a fire giant getting ripped out of your clutches. You're not going to be too worried about it right now, though. They're going to go ahead and start this up, try to force a fight.
One pyro bomb in play, but that's in coast. Slayer's got ult. You're gonna have to use it. We'll be in time. No, we'll not. Twig gets the fire giant for jump machine. Karmic surges forward, comes back, and finds Cherry down into the whirlpool. He's got nowhere to go. Cherry will fall. Valo beads from inbound. Valo's actually still kind of standing and throwing because he knows if they turn and fight him, jump machine are right there, and the fight will work out in their favor. Instead, Cherry Slush call the retreat button. They lose fire. It'll be on 5. We're past uh-oh territory in gold. Kills significant. 2 gold furies positive for jump machine. Now, you start pushing up mid, and Cherry Slush just got to hang on.
Val's done a good job here, hanging on to his ult. Still has the Ragnarok available for this defense to pull someone out of position. Kraken comes out.
Does find 2. The bite's not good from Valo. A rare miss of the Ragnarok, so no additional pick for jump machine. They do get the middle Phoenix, but there's still 2 tier 2 towers up in the side lanes. So a little bit before they can actually begin sieging the rest of the Phoenixes. They'll still take that one for sure. You have a gold fury you can grab, not an ancient fury. They'll just be the 3rd gold. So still a great spot for jump machine, but still a couple of things that could have gone cleaner.
Could go cleaner, but at the end of the day, they keep Fire Giant on all 5. They got what they wanted from it. And sure, maybe if they find a couple kills here, they can look for him. I don't think they were necessarily trying to look for that. It was more of a, if it happens, then we go off of it. If not, we play this slow, we play it smart, pull back that Gold Fury, secure it. And they've still got over 2 minutes for Fire Giant to work with. They can take down either of these other 2 lanes. I'd love to see them go for that left side, hold down that tier 2, threaten the Phoenix. If they get that bird, that Fire Giant is going to be a lot easier to work with. Play things slow, careful, make sure you get your farm. But I do want to see them make their way up to that lane. I think that's the best way to keep this momentum moving for them.
A nasty item pickup for Valo. Grabbing the Phoenix Feather. That's so nasty. I mean, with how these fights have been going down, having not a second life, but certainly a big regain for Valo is just absurd. Cherry could be caught, going to be forced to ult away to safety. Ult's deeper down the lane, so definitely safe. And Jump Machine continue the siege.
So many pro top laners love Thor solo. He does have less HP and defenses though, but he's not a warrior. And once you use your low damage 3 and 2 abilities, kind of be like, doesn't do anything, you know. But it might be a fallacy because maybe other warriors wouldn't do anything else at those periods as well.
Fenrir, if he can find one good
the Thor wall is an incredible warrior ability to have though.
A lot, but remember, that dagger is still in pocket for the Sobek, so if you take enough, Happen's always been pretty good about timing out that dagger.
23-13.
Not to mention just the play and sustain. Look how much that health bar has already gone up in the short term. Cherry Slush still hang on to the Phoenix though. A 4-1 split with Valo in the mid lane. Can't gain too much aside from the Fire Minion pressure though, as mid Phoenix is down, and still a tier 2 up and right. Another step in from Jump Machine. Do they full commit this time? Say they want to. There's a Ragnarok, but they can't get anything so far, Spooky.
Looking for the pull. Life of the Party comes out, but it's immune by the Sobek. Throws inbound out into the Kraken.
Wow. That was crazy. You can't fucking beat that.
In the lamp, taking the fight with Scream. Will it be enough? Valo's actually got the better of this fight so far. Coast in, now the 1v2 for Valo. Outside the lamp, Cherry goes down. Valo uses the feather, won't matter. Scream and Coast combine to take him down. But when they come out of the lamp, the whole squad is there. And the
Meet the boys when Aladdin comes out.
And Cherry Slush will be down to one member. Jump Machine on the Titan. Damage done, Slayer dead. Semifinals to Jump Machine. They remain undefeated.
That is the double-sided sword that is 1v1. It was a 2v1. And as soon as you leave, you find yourself staring at a Sobek. Tail whips, knocks up both members, instantly deleted, and it removes any chance of a defense coming out from Cherry Slush there. Excellent play coming out from Jump Machine. You see
Sure, you're streaming this shit.
They have a 100% win rate, and they are holding tight to that, Malum.
Yeah, they are not letting that win rate go. Just on a clean sweep so far on their way to the finals, and they're going to have some time to wait. We're still going through the lower bracket at this point, but let's focus on the end of this one.
That up B.
Let's
see what he can get. Doesn't go for the up B. Very smart right now, 104 on Tweak. And Tweak playing it very slow, realizing that Dark Wizzy is going to maybe struggle to get the KO.
Scream actually had a bad time.
Okay. I like the idea that Tweak, he did that last set too, where he'll just shoot the gun, and maybe he lands it, maybe he doesn't, but he doesn't really lose anything by it.
Right. Oh my God.
Tweak's a fucking wolf and don't talk. What the fuck?
The option that he needs to pick to avoid that up smash though. Just like that, Dark Wizzy right back into the game, only taking 30% before losing that stock, now at 42. Hold on. Oop. Back throw. Yep. Get him off the stage. Dark Wizzy. Wow. Dark Wizzy's like, I'm out. I'm good. No. I don't like any of this.
Leave me alone. I like that. That's cute.
Yeah. The down tilt, yeah.
Yeah.
The touch of feet.
Both these characters kind of similar in the way they function. I mean, they're both like straight up fighters, you know what I mean? So it's not like one of them sitting back shooting thunder jolts or, you know, using projectiles or whatever. Like, Wizzy's using fireballs every once in a while and Tweak's using lasers, but really all the interactions are like this.
Yeah.
In each other's faces.
Okay, up B. Super jump punch, gonna find its mark here. Okay, so it's the back air though. A little trade action here from Tweak and Dark Wizzy, but Tweak obviously a little ahead with the stock lead. Has to find himself the stock here. Oh, whoa, what? Okay, kind of weird triangle jump in.
Yeah, Tweak, I mean, you want to seal the stock away. Don't let Wizzy get extra time. But at the same, you know, on the same accord, it's like can't rush anything. We know how good Wizzy is.
Wasn't this like the Fox of Ultimate?
Yeah, he has such, like, crazy counter engage. Nice, good back air. You see Wizzy kind of noting it in his mind, realizing he shouldn't have done that. And sometimes you have to make those mistakes in another set. You know what I mean? Like, you might have made those in the last set, but now time has passed. Wow.
Okay, just straight dunks on him right there. That option that he picks a lot, so yeah, definitely caught Tweak off guard there, but still doesn't get like a full stock off. It just kind of alleviates the pressure. Oh, well, finds the stock right there. Only 44%, not too much to look at right now.
Yeah.
Tweak, you know, gonna have to add up a little more if he wants to make sure he can solidify this game. We're down. We're both down on our last stock on each of our competitors. However, man, you know Mario can definitely rack it up if he finds himself his first opening. He was right there. Doesn't get the grab that he was looking for.
Okay. Like a super jump punch right in the face.
I mean, Twig has played the game for like 10 years, being a top 10 player, usually at spot 10.
So anybody's game.
So, you know, if you want more success, you gotta change your character, I think. It's pretty common, actually, if you just change your fucking character, you can get twice as much success. Smash players are good.
Nice tech away from Tweak. Was he trying to find his opening? Ooh, that forward smash was about to sink.
Man, these forward airs are actually just hitting right now.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Tweak actually down in percentage. Forward throw, yep, get him off my stage. Oh, wow, Wizzy almost finding that down air.
And I think Davey thought he's going to drive a jab or something like that. Either way, same situation we saw previously. You better change the channel. I don't saw this movie before.
Exactly. Turn this TV off, and with my type of DJ activity, don't you dare get involved. But I imagine making us watch the cinematic off the level 3 instead.
Yeah, you want the damage. It's not going to kill. Next hit will. What's the entry point? Dash up medium. He really went for it, put 2 space out to get a punish. DI.
My man is Jamaican.
Perfect KO. And now we're game to game.
Especially, we expecting nastiness from Davey here on the doll sim, but Blue saying, yo, y'all want to see something fun real quick? Oh,
fun for me, not for you.
Exactly. Fun for me, not for you in this situation, but hey, always chance for a quick turnaround, especially off the fireball, especially traded out damage, but rush option instead.
Right, rush. That was going to be a throw. I think Davey thought as well. Got interrupted, counter hit. Reversal buttons up the lights, resets with the throw. First time we've seen Davey do this, like the reversal, you know, go for the back throw for the reset, try to switch up positions, not trying to be up in the corner.
I'm gonna say OD maximum out in full force. We got double fireball to hit, make that 3 times coming into it, just try to buffer through, especially against Davey. Going for the float option instead, back in the sky. And imagine for Dawson to go twice as high, fall twice as hard if you're not careful enough, especially dealing with the likes of Blue.
Roger, stand fierce, maximum upper, that's a downer. Blue up around now. He does. He blows up that bar. That level
thanks to I've run a YouTuber who talks about male image modernly. I realized something really, really profound, you know. So much part of my life revolves around like it's no revolves around being big, steroid muscular, you know. It's an image, no more than my main character in my book is a bodybuilder, you know. I mean, let me continue. I've been brainwashed by steroid bodybuilder image that I need to look like that. I spent my entire life gymming, pretty much. I guess I realized that, you know, I can't really get that big. I'll try to get as big as possible, you know. I told my personal trainer at one point, you know, I want to look really fucking good. I want to be a big V-shaped gym unit, you know. Actually, what I thought possible. It's too big. So that helped a lot, I guess, as well, but that would not have happened unless it was for the cheater of the sport, steroids. You didn't even look like that the entire year. It's just a few weeks, you know. We think it's so fucking good.
Add that charge up for the OD jackknife. Game point here for Blue. Said people have been watching me speed on my name right. I'm gonna show them.
I gotta show them who's the alpha.
Wrong player, wrong player.
I was about to say, wrong player.
Wrong player. But Blue, seeing red right. He's up 2 games, getting a lot more aggressive. Like the knee shots, when he gets close enough to do so. Drop that where it's harder for Sim to interact with. Heavy kick, but no drive rush right after. It's easier to be able to get a punish.
Don't have a realistic male or female body standard shot.
Try to drive rush grab option instead. Yoga teleport back into the fire. No delay on that one either.
But fireball, just lock him down, want to spin that bar. Look at my man, just walking, menacing, and also building a bar as he does so. Lead here for Davey.
Lead at that one. Actually, a great lead. I just looked at the health bar just for a few brief seconds and already gone. Davey by one again. Possibility to set this 2-2 here.
Blue might have to spend a little bit more OD gauge, like OD fireball.
Yeah, I'm too tired, chat. I'll stream more later or something like that. Maybe, maybe not.